Okay, I'm here with Mike Halbrich. Is that how you pronounce
Halbrick,
it?
Mike
Halbrich.
Halbrick.
Okay, very good. So Mike is the winner and the first one of the jacket that we're giving out for the Arizona Passport Program, FlyAZ. And so we're doing a little bit of an interview today with Mike to see his experiences and pass it on to the rest of you guys. So we'll start with, how did you hear about the Arizona Passport Program?
Well, last year at Buckeye, in 2022, I saw the Arizona Pilots Association. I saw you guys were going to launch one sometime in the future. So I joined and said, well, keep me posted. And then honestly, I forgot about it. I
Okay,
came out here this spring and I was actually preparing to do Louisiana and Oklahoma.
got it.
And there were some things that got in the way on that. So I decided to, then I realized, oh yeah, Arizona's got it launched. I saw your app and the rest is history. I said, well, let's take this one. It's my own backyard. What excuse do I have to not do this one?
Well, good, good. Just go for it, huh?
Just go for it.
All right, super, super. So what other aviation organizations are you involved in? EAA, AOPA, things
Yeah,
like that?
EAA, AOPA, the local chapter of the EAA in Wisconsin. It's 838 is a pretty big chapter. It's probably one of the biggest in the nation.
Okay,
And I'm also involved in the foundation, our chapter foundation for scholarships and
good.
supporting programs. AOPA, I'm involved with them, and actually that was the whole thing with Louisiana. They're launching their own set version of the passport program that's going to all be GPS locator based, and
Okay,
Louisiana is the first state.
cool.
So turned out didn't work out with schedule and a few other things. So I didn't pursue that one. Maybe in the future, but at this point in time,
Right.
Arizona is the one I did.
Sounds like a good approach to use GPS. We talked to a number of states that already had it when we set ours up, and they were all paper-based. So we decided we wanted to, here in Arizona, not have the stamps go dry all the time and just work it that way.
That's
So,
a great idea. I've done 5 states, and the other 4 of the 5 had find the stamp,
okay.
and it's like a scavenger hunt on steroids because you never know where they're going to be, and when you find them, the pad might be dried out. So I think you guys made the right choice.
Well, good, good. Appreciate that. All right, super. So what plane did you use to complete the program?
I use this Piper Dakota
All right, all
turbo
right.
turbo version of it. I'm relatively new to this plane. I've had this plane going on 2 years, but all of the other states, the other 5 states, I did in a flight design CTLS.
Oh, okay, okay.
That was I would never recommend doing that in Arizona. The winds are enough already with this plane. I wouldn't want to try it in a light sport.
Right, right. No, and a little bit faster on the Dakota side as opposed to the light sport for
Well, and
sure.
also the turbo does
Yeah,
help when we're talking about some altitude and high density.
right. Up north it gets a little bit. Density altitude is a consideration.
It's a consideration besides the winds through the Grand Canyon.
Right.
Talking about those airports by Colorado City, we had some interesting winds leaving Page to go to Colorado City, and the airspeed indicator we saw winds that were varying by 40 degrees, and by direction,
Right.
my speed was anywhere from 7 knots to 35 knots within a minute.
Wow.
It was really something else to
It
experience.
can be hairy. It can. That's for sure. Understand. But you have a capable plane. It's a
Yeah,
nice plane. So,
it's really a nice setup for it. I felt very comfortable with it, and in getting in and out, I really do like the performance of this one. There's no doubt about
right. How long have you had it then?
it. It'll be 2 years in this upcoming August,
Oh, okay.
so I'm
Okay.
relatively new to this.
Right, right.
But it was a great find. It's a beautiful plane, absolutely. I'm the third owner on it.
Very nice.
So
Very nice. Yeah.
1979. So the first guy was. I mean, if you look at it, it's got speed mods. It's got the Presky front. I mean, the
Front,
guy
yeah.
spent crazy money on it
Oh, okay.
just to
Okay. Yeah.
make it for himself, and I'm the beneficiary of it. So
Well, good, good. It's always be the beneficiary of a nice upgrade
you know,
panel and
yeah, you
airplane,
never
and
get. Well, I put some money into it too, but I know you don't get that money out. But
you
it
don't.
is what it
You don't. How many planes have you had throughout your career?
is. Just two.
Just two. The
I'm rel-
CTLS and then this.
yeah, right. I'm
Okay.
relatively new to flying.
Oh, okay.
I just took it up about 8 years ago.
Really?
I took it
Okay.
up because I couldn't play golf anymore. I had chronic back issues, and actually, it's an interesting story in that aviation saved my life. In that the whole first I started with light sport. I didn't have to deal with the medical.
Right.
And then when I did progress to a pilot, to the private, I had to get a third class medical. That's when I found out I got a special issuance that mandated that I have my condition checked every year. And it ended up saving my life. 5 years ago in July, I had to have open heart surgery.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No symptoms at all.
Right.
It was just, the aneurysms that I've got ended up getting large enough to where they had to be addressed.
Needed to get addressed. Sure.
And I was grounded, and wonderful AME in town here, Dr. John Raniolo, can't recommend him enough. He said, Mike, get this fixed. As he said to me, I thought there was negotiation, and he said, you can't fly a kite. And he just said, get this fixed, and I'll get you your third class medical within 3 months afterwards.
Cool. Good.
And
good.
it all happened.
Nice to find AMEs like that.
Yeah, he's something else, and he's right here in the valley. So any pilots, any of you pilots that need to have any issues with medical at all, I couldn't recommend him enough.
Well, good, good. Sounds super. Tell us a little bit about your career and where you got started and what brought you here.
You mean to Arizona?
After all this time.
Well, I live in permanent residence is Wisconsin, but I've been down here for the last 26 years.
Okay.
Geez, I don't know. What do you think might be the weather?
You think?
Right now in Wisconsin, yesterday they got 8 inches of snow.
Oh.
Okay, so we don't rub that in, but needless to say, I do come out here more than just the snowbird thing.
Okay.
And I really love Arizona. It's the diversity here and the climate is just unbelievable. So my business is I own a financial life planning firm in Wisconsin. I got a wonderful team up there that at this stage we're celebrating our 40th year.
Wow.
And we got a team of 9. And the beauty of this is at this stage they allow me to kind of do whatever I want. I'm still involved in the business.
That's nice. Get to a point where you can do what you want instead of what you have to. Yeah.
Right. And I focus on the elder life planning part of it now.
Okay.
I've got clients that I've had for 40 years, and I want to make sure that I'm there for them through their late life, end of life.
Right.
So it's really you've heard that, priceless.
Right.
What I do is absolutely priceless in terms of the rewards that I get from the satisfaction.
It's got to feel good.
It feels great. And the plane is just another excuse for me to fly around and see some clients that have retired and moved somewhere else.
Right, right.
And so, especially up northern Wisconsin, I'll fly up there, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Super, super. All right. We talked about whether you're a full-time resident or winter visitor. Obviously, a little bit of both.
A little bit of both. You'll see me here in the summer. Not a lot, but I'll come down.
All right. So, tell us how long it took you from when you made your mind up to go do this to ultimately completing it.
You mean Arizona?
Yes, Arizona.
Okay. Well, to back up a little bit, this is the 6th state I've done.
Okay.
So I kind of got it down.
It sounds like you do.
It doesn't mean I don't make mistakes, and I know one of your questions is what's the longest flight. I mean, I don't know what that one is about. But so I've got a process to it, and just through trial and error. And I love the passport program because it really is an opportunity for you to test all of the things about flight planning, about contingency planning, about weather, just so many other things that you just can't imagine. But from the start here in Arizona, I started in February the 2nd was my first one.
Okay.
I headed down to Tucson. Actually went down to Tucson, overnighted in Ryan. The winds were a little bit too much, and then I spent that weekend. That was one of the weekends. It actually took me three weekends and then another day.
Okay. Okay. So fairly quickly in the grander scheme of life.
Yeah, I started February the 2nd, and I finished. Along the way, I lost my medical.
Oh.
So the last 6 airports, every year because of my special issuance, I have to do a physical.
Right.
It was stable for the last 4 years, and this last year I got to go back in and have another procedure done. So the last 6 airports I had a
safety pilot.
Yeah, safety pilot. I had a flight. Actually, he actually did one of the weekends with me. He's a young CFI here for Eagle Sport Flyers.
Okay.
Nice little school here at Glendale, and he's actually on the list. I think he's going to deserve himself a cap. We did. He said he never flew anything like that.
Is his name Brian?
No, his name is Parker.
Okay.
Bertel.
Got it.
And yeah, Parker. He's got about 700 hours. He's building his hours towards getting to the airlines, and he's doing some flight instruction right now. But he's never experienced anything like that.
Good for
We
him.
did over one weekend. We did 17 hours of flying,
Wow.
22 airports. And
That's
by the
awesome.
way, he's got great stick.
Stick and rudder.
He's got great stick and rudder. I let him land on the Grand Canyon West,
Oh, okay.
and we
Okay.
had some significant crosswinds. It was kind of fun. That was
Right.
same day that we did. We started in Page, hit Colorado City, and then over to Grand Canyon West.
Okay.
That's a neat, beautiful visual when you fly into that one.
Oh, it is. Yeah, for
no doubt
sure.
about it.
For sure. Well, good. Sounds like a winner. Um, did you keep track by any chance of how many flying hours you've got dedicated to the program,
This
or?
program, I did a rough estimate, Trent. I want to say it's around between 50 and 60. I'd have to do a final count.
Okay.
But it's more than 50 and it's less than 60, so somewhere in there.
Got it. Good.
And I wasn't real efficient.
That's an hour or two in the seat for sure. For sure. How about any challenges that you faced doing the program? Were there a couple of things that were scary, or you look back and say, "Wow, that was kind of crazy"?
Well, the one at Sells,
Okay.
which we're going to take, I hope you guys got that off because that is just, it's reported as poor asphalt.
Right.
But what they really, and you got to read carefully, I did read some reviews afterwards. There's actually some trees that are growing in, and it's a 60-foot wide runway if you talk about asphalt edge to edge when it was poured.
Right.
But now you've got bushes and trees growing into the runway.
Okay.
And I would say that at its narrowest point, you're probably maybe 40 feet. And coming in, and I did a low pass on it, and from above, I didn't notice how much the trees were coming in.
Okay.
It wasn't until I was already committed and I was literally landing that I realized, oh boy, I better watch this one.
Make sure you're on the center line.
No, actually, you move around.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
No, you have to move around because the tree's going in one side, the tree's going in the other. You're doing
Okay.
this. I wish it was as simple as the center line. If you're on the center line with your Cirrus,
Right.
you're going to be taking 2 feet of it off on one of the trees. Okay. So the other thing that I would say that was a little interesting was I flew into Douglas, and that's right on the border there. And what made it interesting is that they don't have a reliable cab service.
Okay.
So I stayed at the Gadsden Hotel, which, by the way, there's two things I do want to mention. If you're going to do it the way I do it, which is to go in and do an area of the state, maybe a quarter of the state, and stay
Right.
for a weekend, the southeast corner, I'd recommend the Gadsden. It is a historic hotel. It's in downtown Douglas. It is beautiful. And contact the hotel, and they'll arrange to get you ground transportation.
I think that's Tanya, right? Or Tanya?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
That's right. Do you know her?
I do not. I do not.
Okay.
There's been a couple of folks that have reported back that the Gadsden has been more than hospitable for the people participating in the program.
The food was fantastic. And then over in Yuma, that was another one in the corner there, and we've got that listed. I was wondering why we had the landings listed as an attraction. I know why now. You want to stay at the hotel rates there. It's
right.
a motor
Inn.
Yeah. Right. And the same people own both.
Okay.
You get breakfast included. It's a lady by the name of Miss Peach. And
yes, I remember that.
Definitely, I'm looking forward to interviewing her because her story is something else. She's a retired principal.
Okay.
And she is one of the matriarchs of Yuma. Okay. Yeah, the landings, it's like going into a museum restaurant.
Okay.
I mean, they've got photographs of the whole development of the Yuma area going back generations.
Wow.
So you really understand where our lettuce comes from, where our produce really comes from.
Little history there.
Little history. And I didn't realize how much aviation was there. And again, for the pilots that are flying the program, it's definitely worth the 10, 15-minute drive or
cab ride.
Uber in, cab ride in. It's definitely worth it.
Good.
And I would recommend, again, if you can have that as one of your overnights. So it's Gadsden over in Douglas, in Yuma. The restaurant's The Landing, and I believe it's a motor inn somewhere. I can't remember the name of it. It might be Yuma. whatever it is, but it's on the list. And then the other, in Page, take a take a pick of
Yeah.
any of the hotels up there. I think Page is an obvious overnight spot too, if you're kind of dividing the state up.
Right. Right.
And then if you want, again, the other corner would be the Laughlin
Oh,
area.
right. Right. Right.
So that would be the other one.
Did you get a chance to fly over Lake Powell?
I did.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. Actually, my wife and I did that last year.
Oh, okay.
So we spent a
Okay.
lot of time in it. This is before the program was launched, but we had done a fair amount of flying through the Grand Canyon. We landed in Marble Canyon, which is really spectacular. For those, it's not part of the program,
Right. Right.
but man, if you can carve out some time when you're there to land in there, it is definitely a spectacular
Cool.
approach to go in there because you're circling to come down the land,
Right.
and then you circle back up to get out. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, good. Good. Sounds like you had a lot of fun along the way.
Yeah.
So, gotta ask, is there a hidden gem airport that you discovered?
I was thinking about that, and the one that keeps popping into my head, only because it was a big surprise, was the visual around it with Baghdad.
Baghdad.
Now, it's not a spectacular airport in any stretch of the imagination,
Right.
but it was one of those. I just flew. I took off from Buckeye, left there, and it was pretty significant winds. Actually, that was the air show that was over there at
Oh,
Buckeye,
okay.
and departed there. And my next stop was Wickenburg, and then from Wickenburg up there. And I was just, let's get this over with.
Right.
I was really surprised when I flew in. I did a couple of circles of it because to see that big open mine
Right.
on the one end, and it was just really, it was really a
Interesting.
neat place.
Yeah.
But there's so many of them. Of the 6 states I've done, there's no doubt Arizona has the widest variety of experiences.
Okay.
And conditions, experiences. It's really hard to pick any one of them. Every one of them is its own uniqueness.
Right. Right. Well, good.
The one the one that I missed was Window Rock.
Oh.
I saw Gallup, and I was just clicking on ForeFlight, and I literally had to go back up. So the longest flight I had to go was to go up there with my buddies, which is another form of embarrassment.
Right.
I needed a safety pilot, so this wasn't like I was just tail between my legs, go up there and get this out of the way, which was about a couple hundred miles.
Right.
So
Right.
it's a
Yeah.
long way to make a mistake.
Sure.
That is, of all 5 states, that's the only one that I did that I have to admit of all this time. And I have to blame myself and just not paying attention,
Sure.
not carefully looking at that one. I clicked on it and it pulled up Gallup. I said, "Oh, New Mexico." And I
Right.
realized right across the border, still in Arizona. It happens.
Oh, it does.
So
For sure.
anyway, we did that March the 9th. Flipped to Sedona, then over to Window Rock, and then caught a few of them coming back. Superior, we did a little pass on, and then came back in, and that wrapped it up.
Okay. Let's see. 2 pieces of advice that you would have for people participating in the program. If you could impart some tribal knowledge, if you will, what would that be?
Be prepared for the unplanned, whatever
Right.
it may be. Make sure that you've got, if you're going to be doing flying in Arizona in particular, you better have safety stuff with you, just in case something happens and you get stuck somewhere.
Right.
You may not be stuck. You may be on an airstrip in the middle of nowhere and have an issue, and you better figure out how you're going to be able
Sure.
to make it for a while. In case when you go down to that area, there's no radio. It may take you a while. Who knows?
Right.
That's probably it. Just be prepared for the unexpected and be flexible.
Right.
Because this is a situation where got to get the rightest is not at all what you want to do on this thing, and do not underestimate the conditions.
And they change drastically from one airport to another.
And you got a lot of, this is spread out. In some ways, it's reminiscent of North Dakota, and that some areas you don't have weather.
Right.
And because of the landforms and the changes that you've got with winds going through those landforms, it can be really severe. So be doing your planning and don't push the envelope when you're When you see a low pressure trough going through the Grand Canyon, don't think you're going to muscle your way through there.
Right, right,
Even though the winds may not be reported in the reporting airports
right.
as an issue, it's between those airports where the flood is.
Yeah, for sure. Well, one of the things that we tried to get people to understand about participating was the fact that it is an educational experience as well, in that you have to pay a little more attention to the planning to go up north versus going to Eloy for breakfast, right? I mean, it's just a different sort of environment. So, very good. Good advice. Thanks. You said you did most of the challenge by yourself.
There's something, there's advantages to doing it by yourself and advantages to doing it with somebody else.
Sure.
I kind of like both of them. It's almost meditative to do it by yourself.
Right.
You're focusing on what you've got to do, and the thing about it is that I probably got well over 400 airports approaches and landings that I videoed over the years.
Over the years, yeah.
And what's amazing is you give me a minute, you tell me the airport, I look it up, and I can tell you and it could be 4 years ago,
wow,
5 years ago, and I can tell you my approach.
Sounds like you're organized.
No, I thought that was it. But Trent, I think what really happens is, as pilots, we have to be fully engaged when we're coming in to land a plane.
Yes.
And our brain is absorbing things in our subconscious. We don't even know it's there.
True.
And then when I look at a video,
muscle memory in its finest form.
It's in there. And I remember just talking to a young guy who was a Spirit Lake, Iowa. And if you said to me Spirit Lake, I probably couldn't remember it. And then he told me, I remember the airport. Now I saw it on the chart. I went, I remember exactly. Came from here to here. And that was 4 years ago.
Wow.
And again, it's when I was cataloging the raw video.
Right.
As soon as I would look at it, I go, I remember that airport. That's Waterloo. There's going to be 2 deer that are going to come out of the woods. And I don't know what to say other than the mere fact that our brains are absorbing so much. I think that's a hidden gem of doing this program.
Okay.
When you do 15 airports, the most I've ever done was 24 airports in a day.
Okay. That's a lot of airports.
Not here. They were close together.
Right.
It was Minnesota. When you're doing that, you don't realize how much is being burned in your synapses. And then later on, I'm just looking forward to this trend. There will come a day when all of us are going to be grounded.
Sure.
We're not going to be able to fly again.
Yep.
And I look back at the passport program. Each one of these states is a wonderful opportunity for me to go back and look at those videos and relive what that experience was like. And
that's very cool.
Truly priceless.
Very cool.
So if I can encourage anyone to look at, I've got friends of mine that are doing the Wisconsin program. And that's how I got started, by the way. 2017, in the fall, they just launched the Wisconsin program. I didn't know anything about passport program. I had my own light sport plane I owned. I was looking for an excuse to fly.
To fly, sure.
I found out about this program, flew it for 6 months, and then I got grounded.
For the health thing.
Heart surgery.
Right.
Finished it up, and then the last airport was Volk Field, which is a military complex that they only open up once a year. They have a safety seminar, and that's when you can get your stamp. It's in October. So I fly in to get the stamp, and here's another guy, Russ Kennenberg from Minnesota, and he's got a jacket that's got 2 patches on it. He's got a jacket, the patch from Iowa and Minnesota, where he's from, and he was finished in Wisconsin. I said, you mean there's other states? He goes, yeah. So then the race was on.
Right.
The 2 of us were going back.
You're not competitive at all, are you?
I wanted to finish all 5 states. I beat him by about 5 months.
Well, good.
But it was a lot of fun. My wife did, so I did Wisconsin first, then I did North Dakota with my wife.
Right.
Boy, was I naive. Talk about naive. I did Wisconsin and kind of broke it up over weekends, and took me a year to finish it.
Okay.
North Dakota, we had flown North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska a year and a half earlier to do an excuse. I just got my private pilot's license. We wanted to look for my ancestors.
Oh, okay.
Volga Germans, and we did find them, and it was kind of an exciting trip. So we flew across that area. So I said to my wife, for summer, how about we do all the airports in North Dakota? I mean, there's only 86 of them. Wisconsin's got 120.
Right.
How tough could that be? Talk about naive and dumb. My wife, I got to give her credit. She actually came along and took us 9 days,
Wow.
and we went back in between. So actually, I've got a presentation that I put together for the EAA. I do it at AirVenture, and I do it for other chapters on the 5-state. But I have one of part of that presentation with videos is what is a day like of this kind of.
Oh, okay, okay.
And it's a different experience. The day would start with me telling my wife, "Here's what we're going to do, honey." I get up about 4 in the morning because daylight's long.
Sure.
Get up at 4:30 in the morning. She's still sleeping. I'm just checking the weather last time for whatever you can check weather in North Dakota. Map it out and say, okay, I think it's going to be a good day today.
Right.
It's going to be real easy. By the middle of the day, it wasn't easy.
No.
It's usually something went sideways of some sort. By the last day, she said, just don't say anything. Just don't tell me. It's going to be what it's going to be. But the first day was really a special. We did 17 airports that day, and it was a lot of fun. And that shows my naivety on the whole thing.
Right.
Now, that's why I said just prepare for the unexpected.
Take it as it comes. Yeah.
You just don't know. We almost ended up overnighting in this FBO that was a trailer with no air conditioning in the middle, about 40 miles east of Minot. And there were storms coming in, and it was bad.
Yeah.
It was it would have been a bad place to overnight. I'm sure there was rodents in this thing. It smelled like it. And there was a couch, and there was this kind of rotten looking bed. And the question was, who's going to get the bed? And so we hightailed it out of there. We got between the weather, and we got into Minot and put it down for a day and called it a day. But yeah, it was a real experience.
Yeah, yeah. Well, good. Sounds like you've had some both exciting, unique, and fun experiences throughout the time you've spent doing the programs. That's great. It really is.
I really do appreciate. Arizona is going to be. I really think Arizona has the potential of the ones I've done to be the most. I think it'll probably be the greatest of them. Using the term "great" in the context of challenging, variety.
Right.
The need for planning versatility, and then just the things to see. It's just such a wide variance.
Right.
I mean, you can be in
a very diverse state.
Oh yeah, and the people are just wherever I go, I've always found the people are unbelievable, and there's no difference here. So I think that for the pilots that are interested in pursuing Arizona, do as much as you can. Every airport is a gift. Just do what you can.
Very good. Very good. Appreciate it. All right. Any parting comments, thoughts?
No, just
have fun.
Just have fun.
All righty, Mike. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
You take care, okay?
Okay.
All right.